There's a couple extra things going on in this composite shaped one. So really what we're going to do is we're going to cut this thing into a rectangle and a triangle. And for the area of the rectangle, that part's easy. Okay, so you can see that it's 5 by 6. The triangle's got across the bottom here is 5, and then these sides are 3. The dashes mean they're the same length on each of them. For going around the perimeter, that's not too hard to do. You're going to go 5 plus 6 plus 3 plus 3 plus 6 and get around all the way around the outside. So that's not too bad. But this one gets a little tricky when you get to the area of this triangle. So this triangle, for the area of a triangle, we need the base times the height divided by 2. But we don't have the height. And we'll do a bit more of this later on, but in case it should be reviewed for you, but if it's not, I'm going to go over this one a little bit. So I brought it over into another program so it's easier for me to write on it, okay? So if you remember, Pythagorean theorem said that c squared equals a squared plus b squared, where c is the longest side, or also called the hypotenuse. It's furthest away from the right angle, and then the a squared and b squared. In fact, I often call this h for hypotenuse, but it's confusing on this one because h is actually the height, so I won't do it that way. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared, or a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then I'm going to substitute, instead of a, they're just the other two sides, a and b. It doesn't matter which one's called which. So I'm going to say that it's h squared instead of a, because it's the height, plus, instead of b, I'm going to use the 2.5 centimeters squared. It's hard to read my writing there, sorry. Squared equals, instead of c, I'm going to use 3 centimeters squared. I'm going to leave the units off. As long as they're all the same for now, it'll make your life easier, okay? And I'm going to rearrange it. I'm going to minus 2.5 squared from each side, so I get h squared and so on. So I get h squared equals 3 squared minus 2.5 squared. I get h squared equals 2.75. And then I take the square root of both sides, and I get h equals 1.66 centimeters. Okay, so now that I know the height, I can go ahead and figure out the area of the triangle. The area is the base, the whole base, so that's 5 all the way across here, times 1.66 divided by 2, or 4.175 centimeters squared, excuse me. Notice this 2.5 came from all the way across the base was 5 centimeters. So, because this is an isosceles triangle, as you come down here, that half and that half are the same, because these sides are the same. It only works for this special triangle. But we basically broke this in half, okay? So it's kind of a long way around on this one. And then we're going to come back. So they did all that, so the total area would be that 30 centimeters squared from the rectangle part plus 4.515 centimeters squared from the triangle part, and the total area. Kind of a long one, okay? Sorry.